Warning, this podcast contains spoilers.
I'm too gross to go anywhere ever again! Well, that's a preview of the next 10 years.
On June 14th.
I'm anxiety. I am just such a huge fan of yours. We're Riley's new emotions. Wow!
Remember when we all finally came up to headquarters?
Nostalgia.
That was like 30 seconds ago, nostalgia.
Yeah, those were the days.
The Feel Everything movie.
Pillow fight! Bring it on!
No, anger.
Arrives in theaters.
Ooh, walkie-talkies. Check. Can you hear me? I gotta press the button. Go for Joy. Copy that. Over. Oh, I love him.
Hello. This is Adolph, and I am with the fantastic Jacob.
Hi, everybody.
And the great Jake.
Howdy, folks.
And today we're doing the Spoilercast for Inside Out 2. And this is the first time we've had a chance to talk about this movie together. We all watched it separately. My review is up on the website. This review, by critical or by popular demand, people wanted me to write a review. So we're back in the writing of review business. So after this point, we want full-on written reviews. And I think this is a fun movie to review. And I absolutely adore this movie. But Jacob, what are your thoughts on this movie? It's full of spoilers. I don't care. Go for it.
Okay, I loved it. It's about as good as the first movie. I think I liked the first movie just a teensy tiny little iota more, mainly because of Bing Bong.
Yeah.
But I love the hell out of this movie.
Yeah, this movie is great. It was worth the hassle of getting tickets.
Yeah, I didn't know this movie was going to be that good, but I didn't go in with like lowered expectations. They were just like, I don't care expectations, I guess. But, they were exceeded and met.
Yeah, exactly. I think everybody else had the same idea because I couldn't get into a screening until days. I mean, it had been booked. 3D had been, they did not have enough screenings to meet the demand for this in 3D.
Now, speaking of the 3D, I really enjoyed the 3D. I do feel like it could have been better, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah,
I wish there was it'll last longer.
Yeah, I wish there was more depth to it. There were certain scenes they should have went for it, but I guess they didn't want to hurt little kiddies, give them eye strain or anything.
But for a Pixar film, this is probably one of their strongest efforts.
Yeah, the hockey scenes are all really nice in 3D. They definitely pop and have just good kind of structure there. But I definitely agree with y'all that this could have. It really felt like Pixar held back. Like you could push it farther. You could have more depth. There's a lot of different scenes where they're like walking on high areas where the depth was really nice. The brainstorm scene was really nice. It's like, dude, just move the camera angle a little bit and you'd be just having an amazing 3D there. But you're just like, nah, we're just going to have it pretty good here. And it's like, dude, just move you could so totally different, just slightly change the shot and, have much better. And, Pixar just feels like I felt like they're holding back. Like they could have made this easily a much stronger 3D and they just held it back. And it's so frustrating because you could tell that this could have looked better. Maybe it's just me.
I mean, yeah, there's just snippets of it like, okay, I wish I could have held here a little bit longer to get the full impact or, just a tiny bit more pop. But I don't know, if for a Pixar film, I was ecstatic, and especially after the Garfield movie, I was happy.
All right, what number score would you give the 3D aspect of Inside Out 2? I gave it a 7. So
7.
I'd say 8.
You say 8?
I might say 7 as well.
It's on the edge. It really is close. But yeah,
I mean, it's still worth seeing in 3D.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And any other specific scenes that you remember? The 3D really popped or really had great depth.
The like the scenes with the what do you like those strings, like the formation. Because, it's just like how it's angled. It's like if it was straight on, it'd be more out in the audience, but it still looks really, really nice.
Yeah, how the camera zoomed and panned in there was really nice and really good. The strings of consciousness to create the self.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, camera angle, be a little bit different, and boom, you would have had awesome shots there. And you're like, no, we had pretty good shots. But it's like, come on.
And then that avalanche scene with all the thought bubble things, they could have a little more, could have popped out a little more, but I was ecstatic at how just in general 3D was.
Yeah, at the end with that those bubbles could have just moved the angle a little bit to the left, and there you go. You have all this stuff come at you and pop out of the screen, and you're like, no, we'll just leave it over here. It's like, come on. So yeah, that was really good. I think there's when they're like on top of the storage. I don't know how to even when they were like jumping from, and they could see how far deep the sarcasm was. Oh, that was great 3D there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's definitely scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely some scenes of greatness, and it averages out to be like a 7, but it's like, oh, it could be a 10 if you just try harder.
Yeah.
Like, you could, I don't know, it just feels like there's like a little knob in like Disney, and you're like, no, we're not going to push to 10. But we could. We just keep it at 7. This is going to be a solid performance, really nice. I think the 3D is better than the first Inside Out, which I thought the Inside Out 3D was really weak and bad, the first one.
It was weak. I didn't see it in theaters, but yeah, the 3D Blu-ray, it was just a bit underwhelming.
All right, let's get on to the movie itself. So, Jake, in a nutshell, what are your thoughts on this movie?
I thought they were smart to kind of age up the movie a little bit with Riley, because the first one was kind of a narrative for, adults could enjoy it, but it was for little kids. This one is for teenagers.
All right, Jacob?
Yeah, like this is just a little bit more relatable, I guess. Even though I'm not a teenager, it just seemed a little bit more adult and mature, especially with the different emotions in the movie. Felt a little bit more complex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ennui was a real standout.
Yeah, but like I get embarrassment. I love the nostalgia.
Yeah,
is nostalgia an emotion or is that more of a feeling?
I don't know, but she keeps coming. They keep sending her back, and I'm like going, a 13-year-old with nostalgia. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Good.
And then seeing the parents at the end, anxiety coming back. That was hysterical.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm glad that the nostalgia was not spoiled. I imagined there was going to be more, but I wish, I kind of wish there was more, like maybe 1 or 2 more that were kind of minor. But we got, I think, a really good addition to the cast. We got some changes to the cast too, and I didn't notice them and don't care.
Couldn't tell. So the actors that were being pissy, you were replaced and nobody noticed.
Anger and disgust were replaced.
Are you sure it wasn't disgust and envy? Because I'm pretty sure that was Lewis Black still.
No, anger. Oh, you're right. Right. Disgust and fear.
Yeah.
Were changed. Anger is the same. Joy is the same.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sadness the same. So, but yeah, I did not notice them at all. If they were different, I didn't care. It was not at all. Oh, I've read some people say, oh, it's just a bit sore thumb. It's like, no, it isn't. They were much smaller in this movie, and they're fine, totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did not affect the movie one iota.
Now, so this movie here, I guess, what score would you give the movie itself before we go into more details? Jake?
10, just like the first one.
Jacob?
9.
All right, I gave it 10 plus Editor's Choice Film Award because it was just, it was really special and it really knocked my socks off. And I really think it, not for me at least, it felt like it built on the first and was just a better movie. And some of the really deep, big concepts were really well explained. And it makes sense much more than the first one did. And I thought it was perfect. I had no issues with this. Jacob,
And
what issues do you have with this to not give it a 10? Not to put you on the spot or make you feel bad. I'm just saying.
Not really any issues per se. It's just I felt like it needed a Bing Bong type character, or Bing Bong needed to make a comeback in some regard. Like when they're in the back of the mine, the Bing Bong could have at least made a tiny appearance. I don't know. I don't think any movie is perfect, but it's really, really close to being just perfect.
Okay, I'm not gonna make you feel bad. So just curious. I've heard some people that are like, "No, I'm not as good as the first one." It's like, no, I think it's very better.
What put me over the top to give it a 10 is the end credit scene.
Yeah, that was a good end credit scene.
It was a great payoff.
The post-credit scene I thought was kind of weak, but they could have gone so many dark places in the post-credit scene that I guess it's better they don't.
But it says, "Oh, I thought it was going to be pee in the pool." Slam.
Yeah, the post-credit being with the darkest secret.
Yeah.
And the dark secret just being, I guess it's a call to Back to the Future. I was like, okay, sure, carpet thing, whatever. Now, one thing I really do love, which I was not able to talk about because massive spoilers, I love how they were able to have the different animation styles here. Oh, so good. Having the video game character and then having the kids cartoon character. Oh, and then yeah.
I loved how the video game character looked like a PlayStation 2 character.
Yep.
I don't know if that was like when this timeline is supposed to happen, because like there's got cell phones and stuff, but I just want to know why it wasn't like an Xbox 360 character or even Xbox One because of the age of Riley. But I still enjoyed the PlayStation 2 aspect of it.
I thought it was just it's how they were able to get the animation style to not fit in. I appreciate they kept it different, but it's also not like super retro that it's like, oh, Riley's not going to be playing Quark or something.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't like, it was just a generic kind of thing, but I was like, oh yeah, it's kind of like a Zelda thing. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not every kid's like Andy who plays with 60-year-old toys.
Yeah. And just having the kids, what cartoon are they referencing? I think they're referencing Dora, right?
Yeah, because Dora has to pack.
Yeah.
And then of course all those at night, and all those quest things with knights.
I really like the commentary with the overworked animator in the film whenever they're trying to build up scenarios for anxiety, and it felt like a commentary on overworked animators on like CGI and stuff.
Yeah,
I was like, is this kind of a commentary on Lord and Miller's?
Just like pitching ideas. Yeah, that whole scene with like they're inside Imagination Land and thinking of different scenarios for anxiety. I was like, oh, this is so brilliant. This is so smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what makes these movies so awesome.
Yeah, great visual representation of emotion, especially with anxiety. I really love that.
Yeah, anxiety is also a highlight. Yeah, I want to see an anxiety ennui movie.
No.
The high concept and how they're able to make it palatable to be general audiences to understand this is so inspired. How they're able to make, oh, the core essence is these things plus this things, and it's like, how are you able to explain this in such a easy way? It's so incredible to me. That's what made it really special. That's what put it over the top.
Well, there's been a few attempts of doing stuff similar to this in the past. I mean, Woody Allen did a really great kind of gag in Everything You Want to Know About Sex, but Too Afraid to Ask with sperms. And there was a TV show. Fox had a TV show that Herman's Head.
I remember Herman's Head.
Is that anywhere to stream? I would be curious about watching it nowadays.
I don't know. I think it's on YouTube.
But yeah, the concepts in this movie, though, I really feel like they really developed them in a way that are really amazing, and how it makes sense. It shouldn't make sense. Such complex, out there ideas put into a concrete manner that is like, oh. And then I again, how they're able to make anxiety much more than just a worse version of fear, because it's a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for anyone, I don't know if y'all have ever suffered with anxiety, but this is on point.
Yeah.
And it definitely hit a nerve to me. I don't know about y'all, but I was crying a lot in this movie.
Wasn't crying, but teared up a few times, yes.
Yeah, and ennui triggered. Yeah, I was like going, God, was I this insufferable as a teenager?
In fairness, I think all of us were. That's just part of growing up.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that they actually did, say puberty, but they didn't actually go into any of the physical attributes of puberty. I was surprised by that, but I understand why they didn't do it.
I mean,
I'm surprised he didn't show Riley as bisexual or gay, because she seemed like totally enamored with Valentina.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think they didn't want to go there.
They want to get banned in 20 countries.
Yeah. And hey, I thought it was cool they had her playing hockey.
Yeah. And they also kept her zit in the movie, which is surprising.
Mm-hmm.
In fairness, though, I feel like I feel like most people obsess over a specific celebrity, even if it's the same gender. They just really obsess over that person, and they're like, "Oh, I know everything about him." And yeah, I totally got that. It's like, yep. And the fact that they're just a couple years older made it nice. It wasn't like something that was completely unachievable. It was like, oh yeah, I could become a really good, or she could become a really good hockey player too. It's not completely, ridiculous like Kardashian or something that, it's not something that can be achieved.
Yeah, it was nice to see a movie with small stakes that's interesting. And because a lot of things, they get just so overblown, you don't even care, because it's just such a ridiculous thing they're trying to save, and you're like, whatever. But this is stuff, I mean, the situation she was in this movie, she's losing her old friends, and she wants to keep them, but she knows she's going to be separated from them, and she needs new friends. And trying to maneuver that as a 13-year-old, and you're going to make mistakes, and not that there's any right way to do this, and you're going to have to make a lot of mistakes before you find the right path.
And anxiety is not entirely wrong.
Yeah. It's just, except anxiety was anxiety run them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and every once in a while, Ennui had to step in and save the day.
I mean, anxiety isn't really a villain. She just
That's what made this movie so great, because there didn't need to be a villain. In fact, if the closest thing to a villain in the movie is Joy, because Joy was taking away Riley's memories.
Yeah. But I think it's another reason that, like, Joy is probably the real villain of these movies, but she
Yeah.
just doesn't realize because
Uh-huh.
she's repressing emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when
Yeah.
the bottled up the emotions, I was like, oh, that's so brilliant, it's so well written.
Yeah.
I love how many different mental psychological puns they had here. Oh my god! I mean, I already saw and knew about the sarcasm, but actually seeing it and how they did it, so
Yeah, and the brains
perfect.
and the brainstorm.
Oh, and the was it the River of Thought? I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Stream of consciousness.
oh my god! It's so smart. It's so well done.
Mm-hmm.
And just having the different like vegetables and stuff, and like, oh, she's thinking about broccoli, and then boop, it's in the stream. It's like, oh, it's how you do this. It's so smart.
And then being in the heads of the parents and seeing the same emotions but yet different.
Yeah, the mom's emotions controlled by sadness and the father's by anger.
Mhm.
I want to know what their relationship is like.
Uh-huh. And anxiety pops up again.
Yeah.
I did love how like they were able to touch the console and have mixed emotions. It's like, oh yeah, absolutely,
Absolutely.
because definitely have that mix. And this movie was not about the physical, so I totally am fine. And obviously, the physical will come. It's just the mental does come usually first, and they should, in theory, be able to talk about both. But obviously, I understand why Disney, I imagine there might be like a director's cut where this gets gross or not gross per se, but it gets more graphic in the physical attributes of puberty for a female. And I can imagine Disney be like, no, you're not doing that. But it could work. It could totally work.
Oh, I don't think they're going to. I mean, one of Disney's most notorious animations is the story of menstruation.
I mean, that could be a really cool Blu-ray feature to talk about that some. But it's just one of those things where it wasn't about that. It wasn't. We don't really get to see any other physical stuff really either.
Well, it's not about those systems. It's about emotions.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. That you don't need to know about. I was kind of surprised that like the mom didn't have a kind of period talk. But I guess that didn't start yet. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. That could have been a Turning Red reference.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think this is, we're a bunch of dudes. We're not going there because women will tear us out a new hole, and rightfully so.
I think actually this was written by and directed mostly by women. I think I remember reading about that where they really tried to have women really be there in the.
Well, I
production.
figure we're going to have a next one because this is on track to being the biggest movie of the year so far, and it's probably joining the $1 billion club. So that means we're probably getting a third one.
Yeah,
and I have a feeling either they're going to head in that territory or they're going to have Riley turn 18 and going off to school and moving out and becoming adulting.
What if she meets Andy and they become a couple?
Oh, that would be awesome.
And then nostalgia could come back and play.
Uh-huh. And then she dumps his ass because he likes 60-year-old toys.
Or what if Andy is her father?
Oh, that would be hysterical.
Yep.
I mean, there's definitely people that are writing fan fiction and writing, different theories, the Pixar theories. I never really cared about that. I just like, whatever. Just enjoy the movies for what they are. I don't try to fit them into some kind of big narrative because I don't think Disney
it's a fun
cares.
game, but I don't want it to be so.
Yeah.
It's messed up comic books.
It's not necessary.
Yeah, it was a fun game, and it's fun to a degree, but they've pushed it so far that it's no longer fun.
Now,
No.
the two times that Joy broke down, devastating.
Mm-hmm. So I was wondering, hey, can joy turn into sadness?
Just when she was like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, yeah, you don't know. And then when she was like, yeah, I don't. Maybe as you get older, joy is something that's not as big of a thing. I was like, oh, yes, but no. Yes, but no. And when the echoing of "you're not good enough," oh, that echoed into my soul.
Yeah.
That one was just like, and then having the panic attack and how that was presented, it was so brilliant, and having Joy cut through it and just get through there, and it's like, oh my god. And anyone that's kind of had a panic attack knows how horrible that is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all have had that pain, but oof.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And like the friends being so kind of understanding and loving. Oh, she doesn't deserve friends like that. Especially at that age, you know? So I guess the basic plot, which you haven't really talked about. Jacob, do you want to say the basic plot?
Sure. It's just essentially Riley is going to hockey camp to try to make this team for high school next year, and finds out that her friends are leaving her, and that kind of sends a crisis into her brain while she's going through puberty, and new emotions pretty much take over, and they have to fight their way back to at least be a part of the emotional team.
And you get some new concepts here, or the back of the mind, which is not
Concept.
And then what the core self is, and that memories, join together, and they become part of who you are. Which, I love how they explained it. I was like, oh, that's so well thought of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it also visually shows how emotions change, especially as you get older. It gets more complicated. It becomes just different.
Yep.
Now, she's a little bit old to be just getting boredom. Boredom, I think maybe for me, that came in early, like 6 or 7.
I've always thought of ennui. I mean, I laughed when she said, I'm just basically boredom. But with me, ennui has always been more disappointment.
Yeah. And embarrassment being a big, hulking guy kind of thing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And hiding at face.
And, so the obsession of, I want to be the best, and, I want to be just like this girl, that she's a great athlete, and she's not good enough, and trying to find who she is. How they're able to deliver that story. Again, like you said, low stakes, absolutely low stakes. It's just a weekend. The whole movie is set in a weekend, and it's not the end of the world, but to Riley, it is the end of the world, because
it's going to affect her. What happens this weekend is going to affect her whole life.
Yeah.
Is she going to ditch her old friends, or is she going to enjoy the time with her new friends? And
is she going to make new friends because she's losing the old friends? Is she going to steal this information? I mean, she's making a lot of bad decisions. She's a teenager. Heck, I know adults that make worse decisions than her.
Yeah.
And how anxiety was able to project potential outcomes of things. Oh, yeah. Anxiety does that a lot. And it's not always bad, because you do need to think about the future, and you do need to think about potential possibilities.
No, but anxiety need to listen to fear more often.
Yeah.
When fear said, "Oh, I'm going to like you," I laughed hard.
Yeah.
Oh, this movie is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the funniest Pixar movies in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, definitely agree.
Yep.
I was either crying because of the situation or laughing, crying because how funny it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so relatable.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be a 13-year-old girl to relate to this movie. This is like so universal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just growing up and dealing with friends and knowing what decisions to do and if you're gonna do bad things. And like if she would have gotten caught, breaking into the room, that would have been so bad for her.
Oh, it would. Yeah, would have probably. She probably would have been expelled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, forget hockey. She'd be lucky if they let her back in school that year. So
Yeah.
she'd probably be down a grade, and it would not have been good.
And I did like that how the old memories that were part of the back of the mind got integrated into her, and how she couldn't be the new version that anxiety created, but she couldn't be the old version either. She had to be her own new thing. I was kind of hoping that would happen. I was kind of predicting that would happen, but I'm happy it did happen because it's a smarter movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a better narrative to have that, and it is exactly what it is.
Yeah, and and for Riley, it was healthy that it happened then instead of at the age of 30.
Yeah. I mean, all of our experiences in the past are going to come back bad and good, and you can put it away, but some stuff is not going to be great, and it is what it is.
Yeah, it's not going to stay put away.
And just how the dynamic between anxiety, I mean, we didn't get that much of envy, but it was enough. I think envy definitely comes into different people have issues with envy a lot more than others. I think that's a big part of that too. Is that this is for writing. This is for her story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people have envy big, and some people have little envy or none. And anxiety is the same way. But I think a lot more people have anxiety than don't.
Yeah.
And I think anxiety lives in people more than it did in the past. Well, no kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Just thinking about the last 30 years of history, people have a whole lot to be anxious about.
Mm-hmm.
Having just more access to different information makes it easier to have anxiety to go rampant and to go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're just a simple farmer and you just, go outside and you work and you make your food for the day and eat it, and the next day, that's very basic life that, humans live for thousands of years for, and now we don't have to have that. Now we could see
we still had anxiety. It was just different.
Yeah.
Anxiety. If you're a farmer, you're worried about the rats eating your crops, hail destroying your crops, having enough rain, having enough sun, the price. The price of your crops being high enough to actually put you into a profit, so you can afford your equipment, afford to live. I mean, all anxiety does is just changing what you're anxious about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And just being more aware of the world and how people are.
So now you can be anxious about things that have absolutely nothing to do with you.
Yeah, which, yay for modern life.
Yay, yeah, exactly.
But I loved how they were able to have anxiety be very relatable, and it's kind of a villain, but not really, because you can't have one thing control you all the time. Just like sadness, you can't control that. I have that, but then you have to have a place for them.
Yeah, and you also see what the downside of having joy control you all the time too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because joy is just bop bop bop. You don't want this memory because it's not joyful.
Yeah, the toxic joy is definitely there.
Yep.
And the richness of the human experience has to be all of the things, not just one. So that's something that you guys have on it, though. The subplot is that joy is kind of a tyrant, and it's kind of messed up.
Oh, Joy is definitely a tyrant.
And in theory, you would want to only have joy, but you can't. That's not how things work out.
Yeah. You have to experience all the other emotions.
Yeah, anger needed to get angry at Joy.
Yeah.
Those little guy workers, I don't know what they are, but I want to know more about their story.
Yeah. Yeah, because when they were yelling across the sarcasm, that was hysterical.
Yeah.
I guess, what emotions would you add for a third movie?
Well, if she's going through puberty, probably
Arousal?
arousal, yeah.
Yeah. Now, some of the emotions kind of overlap, so you can understand why, okay, this is different, but also the same. Actual love, would love be part of joy, or would it be different?
Or you probably have gloating.
Sympathy.
Yeah.
Wonder?
Wonder. I would also have nostalgia in there, definitely.
Yeah.
Grief.
Yeah.
Grief. Despair.
Yeah.
Hunger. I'm surprised hunger isn't I don't know if that's really an emotion, though.
Yeah. Or probably anger would change to hangry.
Yeah.
That he has to eat all the time.
Yeah.
And sadness may also be one of those, starts eating.
Yeah. We need a depression one, or it's just
Yeah, kind of like Schlepperock.
Yeah.
Apparently there's 27 distinct emotions, but they're all kind of on a spectrum, and they got in the biggest ones, because the basic emotions are happiness, sadness, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise. The surprise is not there.
Yeah.
And then combinations of those. So disgust is definitely there. Yeah, I think arousal, love, like depression could be there, but it's also it's kind of similar to sadness and anxiety.
Is it depression more of an illness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they could definitely have like ADHD in there to mess up things. It's like, she can't focus. Amusement, contempt, guilt, pride. I don't know how you make that into a film, though. But I don't know how you make any of this into a film, and they're able to make it work.
Yeah. Well, they're probably going to have a few years before Disney wants a sequel out of them.
They probably want it now instead of waiting 9 years. They'll probably be like, "Hey, you got 3 years to make a sequel."
Just check on. Just keep Lewis Black healthy. As I don't want another anger.
Yeah, I mean he's great in his anger. I had how the new people were able to get a feel for the old people. I think they balanced out really well.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit surprised that sadness and joy weren't like holding hands when the friends were giving her a hug at the end.
Yeah,
because you could definitely have happy crying, but yeah. Still, I like that you're able to like call onto one, and that the console called Joy in, and it wanted Joy to be part of that life. It's like, yeah, I definitely have had that where it's like, come on, anticipation. Anticipation could be interesting. I remember reading that they were going to do a procrastination island, but they never got around to it, or they had it, but then the island was a joke, but they couldn't, like, it just kind of sucked the energy out of the room, so they never could finish it. But that's something to think about.
It's a possibility for the future.
Yeah.
And it might come in handy if they go Riley as an older teenager.
Yeah, like maybe she's procrastinating about filling out college applications or something. Maybe it's for graduation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else you want to say about this movie?
Oh,
Go see it.
Yeah, go see it. Yeah, if you haven't seen the first one, you can follow this fine without seeing the first one, but it's a richer experience.
Mm-hmm.
It builds on the first one.
Uh-huh.
And this is probably one of my favorite Pixar movies in a long time.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is S tier Pixar.
Like one of the best Disney movies in a long time too.
Yeah.
Because like compare this to Onward, get out of here. I mean, Onward was good. Soul was really good. Soul was great.
Yeah, Soul was great. Wish I could have seen it in 3D.
Yeah, this really beats Elemental and Lightyear and
Turning Red.
Incredible
Toy Story 4. Brave's not Pixar, but I mean this is one of Pixar's best.
Yeah, this is top tier for me, and definitely S tier for Pixar, and one of the best sequels in a damn long time from them.
Yeah. In general.
Yeah. It reminded me why I liked Pixar movies so much.
Yeah, like it's so heady and interesting, and having the, I think they actually did right with different psychologists and therapists, because this feels like it was really inspired by someone that knew what they were talking about. That it wasn't just let's actually have these experts in here, and they whatever creative juices they were taking, they took a lot of it, and it really became a fully developed story.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it really is truly special. And if you're suffering through anxiety or have suffered through anxiety, this is going to hit you really hard.
Yeah.
I didn't bring any tissues, and I was like, oh, shit, man. So, yeah. All right. I guess that's going to be it from us. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank MK Ultra, Gravity Head Zero, Travante Classics, and Axe Folk for being my super VIP patrons on Patreon. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Links are in the info box. If you want to send us listener mail, our email address is email3dortwo@gmail.com. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.